right, welcome everybody. Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Centers. We're going to get started in just a minute or so. Give a few last stragglers a moment to get on. But tonight we're going to be talking about autoimmune. We're going to be talking about autoimmune solutions, things you can do right now. I'm going to be putting up on this whiteboard, I'm going to be showing you this is our philosophy. This is each and every system that we're looking at with our patients, what we're doing with them, numbers that you need to be looking for in your blood work, supplements that you need to be taking, dietary changes that you need to be doing, all of these different things. So welcome. Put down below where you guys are watching from. I'll give you a shout out. We've got people all over the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, all over the place. So we love having you guys on here. And we are going to get cranking. We got Indiana, great to see you today there, and Austin, Arizona, Tennessee, good to see you guys, North Carolina, and then give me a Brooklyn, New York, good to see you. Ohio, California. Give me a heart if this is you guys' first time watching one of my videos. Mississippi, New Jersey, give me a heart if this is the first time that you have seen me talk. And hopefully if this is your first time, hopefully you'll come back. So just to give some context, hey Greeley, we're in Fort Collins here. Just some context, we are live on Zoom right now for all of our email list. We're live on TikTok as well. And TikTok, we just, interesting enough, we hit 380,000 followers on TikTok this week. Pretty crazy. I've never danced once. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Our website is f8wellcenters.com. And I want you guys to truly understand, to truly get, by the time we're done tonight, this is going to be about an hour-long seminar, and I want you guys to truly get and truly understand where autoimmune is coming from, how you can truly figure out which systems are causing it, and then reverse it. And you don't reverse it by trying to stop autoimmune. You reverse it by fixing the systems that are causing autoimmune. So we're going to get into that. We're going to give you guys as many details, as much information as you possibly can. If you like this information, and if you're in the social media world, share this with as many people as you can. If you like what you're hearing, tap on my face, gives little hearts, and helps the algorithm send these videos out to more people. And if you want a copy of this video, if you can only get on for a little bit, or you can't stay for the whole thing, or you're coming in late, then let us know. Send us your email, and we will email you over a copy. Once it's processed tonight, we will email you a copy of this entire video. It's going to go about 60 minutes, and then we are going to get in depth into the different systems that you need to be working on, as well as a live Q&A. So put down below any questions you have. I'm probably not going to be answering a lot of questions as we go through the webinar, but put them down and I will be answering them as we go along here. So everybody, great to see you tonight. And let's get started by just putting below, so Barb's got Sjogren's, put down below what autoimmune condition, hey Laura, and put down what autoimmune condition you guys are dealing with. Same's got lupus, Hashimoto's, Sjogren's, Hashimoto's, lung disease, Hashimoto's, a lot of Hashimoto's. You know why? Because Hashimoto's is the most common autoimmune condition in the United States. Eczema, psoriasis, scleroderma, rheumatoid arthritis. For all of you people that are only typing in one, I want you to think one that I know of, because the average person that has one autoimmune condition has multiple, and we see this all the time. We run in our blood panel, we run ANA, we run rheumatoid factor, we run the Hashimoto's markers, and there's actually two Hashimoto's markers, lupus, Raynaud's, and Sjogren's. I have all of the above. That's a lot. So a lot of different autoimmune conditions. Think about this, guys. Mixed connective tissue disorder. There are over 100 and we'll get to, Sherry, we'll get to ANA high. What does that actually mean? There are over 190 named autoimmune conditions. A lot of them I've never even heard of. Hopefully I never have to see them in practice because there's some pretty scary ones. What are the Hashimoto's tests? We will get to that in a second. Somebody can write it down though, TPO and TG antibodies. So get this. Autoimmune, all lumped together, is the third leading cause of death. When you lump all autoimmune conditions together, it is the third leading cause of death. Why is that? Well, because there's some pretty big, ugly, scary autoimmune conditions out there. Hashimoto's, no one will ever die from Hashimoto's. Most people with Hashimoto's will never feel good unless they fix the underlying whys, but you won't die from a lot of those autoimmune. But if you lump them all together, so why would we lump them all together? Once we're done tonight, you guys are going to know exactly why. It's the same thought process. If you have lupus, or if you have Hashimoto's, or if you have Hashimoto's and lupus, it's the same thing. You've got to look at the systems. Yes, Raynaud's is considered autoimmune. It's the same underlying thought process that you have to figure out why that body is attacking its own tissue. So let's get into a little bit of what is autoimmune and what is actually going on in the body when that is happening. And first of all, I want to tell you guys a little story. I was in 11th grade and I was a junior in high school. I was playing football. My mom was watching the game. My dad was there. Everybody was watching. And she collapsed during that football game. And she was a school teacher, got teacher of the year. We used to go running. She was doing all these different things. And she collapsed. And it started this downward spiral. They got her home and nobody knew what was going on. But they ultimately got her to a neurologist. And at that neurologist, they did an MRI and they diagnosed her with MS. So senior year, she went on disability. She ended up going down this downward spiral of going on all the drugs, getting a cane, getting a wheelchair, was in this downward spiral of MS and eventually was going to die from MS. Fortunately, my dad retired. They moved down to the Ozarks down in southern Missouri and found this doctor that was practicing functional medicine even before it was called functional medicine. To the point where he said, you know what, Amy, I am going to help you get to the underlying root causes of why you have MS and ultimately help you reverse your MS. And so that doctor helped her with her gut, helped her with her blood sugar, helped her with her liver, helped her with her brain, helped her with her inflammation, all of these different things to the point where she was able to get off the medications. She was able to give away the wheelchair, give away the cane. Her last MRI 20 years ago showed no more plaquing. She's now 80 years old. She does not have MS. It's not just in remission. She no longer has MS, and she does Granny Boot Camp. She takes my kids fishing. She does not have MS anymore. And that really got me down this path of thinking, holy cow, if you can heal from MS, what else can you heal from? And we've been able to do this with so many patients with lupus, with rheumatoid arthritis, with alopecia, with gastroparesis, with MS, with Hashimoto's, all of these different conditions to be able to help the body get to the underlying root cause and stop the damage, and the body can start repairing. And so it is possible, and this is what we get to do every single day. Mara B, I need that doctor. I have MS and I'm tired. Yeah, unfortunately, he ended up getting pancreatic cancer a few years back and passed away. He was definitely one of my heroes in the functional medicine world. So here's the deal, guys. For those jumping on, Dr. Ben Galyardt, f8wellcenters.com is our website, and we get to the underlying root cause of what is going on. Put your questions down below. I'm going to be doing an hour-long seminar here, talking in depth about each and every system, getting to the root cause, and then I will be doing the live Q&A. So keep asking those questions. So what is autoimmune? Think about it this way. Your body and your immune system is supposed to tag or target foreign invaders, and then the immune system is supposed to attack those. That's how the immune system is supposed to work. So let's say you get exposed to COVID or cold or flu or anything like that. Yes, we work with Parkinson's. What is the root cause of MS? Stick with me. I'm going to be drawing it out right here. And you're going to be taking notes and you're going to figure out for you what your root cause is, because there is no one cause to any of these. So when we're dealing with the immune system, it should rev up if you get exposed to a virus, bacteria, parasite, anything like that. So the body is going to tag that virus. So you get a virus that comes into the body. The body is going to tag it with what we call antibodies. And so those antibodies are going to tag that for destruction. And then the immune system is going to come in and destroy whatever that is, virus, bacteria, parasite, anything along those lines. So the problem is, for various reasons that we'll get into, the body, so let's say at the end of a bone, at the joint here, let's say the body is going to tag that joint for destruction. So this would be, is psoriasis considered autoimmune? Absolutely. So then this would be like rheumatoid arthritis. So then the immune system comes in and starts destroying that end of the joint. Then your joint starts getting bigger. Then you start getting damage to your liver, autoimmune hepatitis. You start getting damage to your skin tissue, psoriasis. You start getting damage to your thyroid, Hashimoto's. You start getting damage to your hair cells, alopecia, or your pigment cells, vitiligo, Crohn's disease, your gut. You get all of these different places in your body where you are going to be targeting and attacking your own tissue. And if you think about it, it's really weird. It's like friendly fire, right? If somebody's in combat, in war, the last thing you want to do is shoot your own guys. You know, if you've got a helicopter coming in and blowing up different things around there, you want to make sure you're not hitting your own guys. But like Alana there's got rheumatoid arthritis attacking, lupus attacking, Crohn's attacking, all of these different conditions, you're attacking your own self. And this is why so many people that have one autoimmune condition have multiple. So a lot of you guys, how many of you guys are dealing with multiple autoimmune conditions? Put down below how many you are dealing with, how many autoimmune conditions you are dealing with. Put down below. And if you only have been diagnosed with one, Tammy's got 5. If you've only been diagnosed with one, say one that I know of. Because the vast majority of that you have one have multiple. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, 5, 1 confirmed and 2 undiagnosed, one that I know of, one for me, one that I know of, Hashimoto's. If you have Hashimoto's, here's the deal, guys. Hashimoto's is the #1 most common autoimmune condition out there. If you have Hashimoto's, next time you run blood work, write this down. You need to test ANA, and you need to test rheumatoid factor. Absolutely 100%. We see those all the time show up in people that did not know they had other autoimmune conditions. So guys, a bunch of new faces on here. Dr. Ben Galyardt, f8wellcenters.com, doing a webinar tonight, hour-long webinar, Thyroid Secrets Revealed. If you're coming in late, if you have to leave early, send me a DM with your email, and I will get you a copy of this webinar once it processes. So here's what we're looking at is, if the body can tag a joint for destruction, why wouldn't it be able to, if this is your thyroid, why wouldn't it be able to tag your thyroid as well? It's not like there's different things going on in the body for people that have Hashimoto's or type 1 diabetes or lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. It's the same underlying systems that are out of balance that are causing this. So Sjogren's is what you have. Sjogren's is one of the autoimmune conditions that you have. You may actually have more. So think about this. The body is going haywire. How does one get tested for lupus? It's a simple blood test, ANA. Somebody put down below ANA and RF. Those are the two additional autoimmune markers that you need to be testing besides Hashimoto's. We test those on everybody. We've got a huge special going on tonight I will get to, but in our blood work, we run autoimmune markers, we run inflammatory markers, we run hormones, we run adrenals, we run liver, all of these different things. And our brick and mortar office is in Colorado, but we have labs in every town in the United States, and we're able to get blood work done everywhere. So think about this. When you have autoimmune, that means your body is going haywire and you're attacking your own self. Why in the world would it want to do that? Why in the world would your body attack its own tissue? And that's what we've got to be thinking about. And that's what, if you're endocrinologist, if you're neurologist, if you're rheumatologist, if they have not said to you, if they have not said to you, I want to help you figure this out. Tell me, put down below yes or no, if your endocrinologist, rheumatologist, neurologist, whoever it is, if they have looked you in the eyes and said, I'm going to do everything I possibly can. We are not going to quit. We're not going to give up. We're going to see you weekly, do whatever we have to do to figure out exactly what is going on. And there is no giving up. There is no quitting. We're going to do this. If your doctor has not done that, then you need to look for a different doctor. Not that they're bad, not that they're wrong, but they're not doing the right thing for you in that moment. They have to say, you know what? We're going to figure this out. And I'm not just going to chalk it up. How many of you have been to an endocrinologist? Do we have a bunch of put Hashimoto's if you have Hashimoto's down below. If you've been to your endocrinologist, if you've been to your PCP or whoever it is, and they say, there's nothing you can do for it. We're going to prescribe you with what? What do they say they're going to prescribe you with? They're going to prescribe you with levothyroxine. They're going to prescribe you with Synthroid, maybe Armour, maybe NP thyroid. So yeah, you're going to get prescribed a thyroid hormone. And they're going to say nothing you can do for Hashimoto's. Which is crazy, because think about this. As I start my my in-depth part of this webinar, where we're going to be going through each and every system here, I want you guys to think about this, that there are things that are going to trigger your autoimmune reaction in your body. Absolutely, 100%. If you guys agree with me, give me a heart. If you agree that there's things that have triggered your autoimmune and things that can drive your autoimmune, give me a heart down below. Because think about this. How many of you guys got flared up after having a baby? How many of you guys got flared up, spring in, when you eat gluten? How many of you guys got flared up when you went on a weekend bender at a wedding and ate a bunch of sugar? How many of you guys got flared up? There you go, with divorce. Yeah, we're going to discuss liver, but it's the same thought process. Whether we're discussing liver or thyroid or nerves, it's all the same thing. What we're going to be talking about: pregnancy, gluten, stress. So think about this. If you can go into an autoimmune flare because of these other things, these outside things affecting the body, wouldn't it make sense that if you could reverse those things, if you could limit those things, if you could stop those things, if you could help those systems, that you could actually stop the damage going on in your body, and you might even be able to reverse what's going on? So here's an example. I'm all of a sudden gluten intolerant. Yeah, it absolutely. Can you reverse lupus? We see people reverse lupus all the time. Get this. How about Sjogren's? Do you guys know what Sjogren's is? Sjogren's is going to be where you get dry eyes, you get dry mouth, and other things can happen. But that's the most common part of what we're seeing is Sjogren's is going to cause this dry eyes, dry mouth. I've got a 23-year-old patient. She's in Pennsylvania, and we've been working. Last time I saw her last week or or 2 weeks ago, and we were at the 6-week follow-up, and we'd been working together for 6 weeks. She was having to put eye drops in. She was having to do this mouth rinse and lubricating as much as feasibly possible. As quickly as 6 weeks, she was able to reverse the Sjogren's symptoms. She no longer has dry eyes. She no longer has dry mouth. She was able to reverse these systems that were driving this inflammatory process in as little as 6 weeks. And now she does not have dry mouth. Now she does not have dry eyes. And she was able to stop the damage that is going on. And that's what we do. Can you reverse MS? You can reverse MS. I can't reverse MS. I can't reverse Sjogren's. I can't reverse rheumatoid arthritis, but you can. Your body has the healing potential inside of you to attack its own tissue. It also has the ability to stop attacking its own tissue. Your C-reactive protein should be under 1.0. So now let's get into how do I reverse Hashimoto's? How do I reverse any of these things? How do I reverse this? Can you please give me an appointment? Absolutely. So guys, we've got huge, we're extending, it was our Black Friday special, but I told my team, hey, extend it all the way through December as my Merry Christmas present to everybody. So $349, and you get the $3,000 blood panel, you get the exam, the report of findings, the metabolic assessment, everything we need to know exactly what is going on with you and take massive action there. So we're going to have links down below for that as we go along here. PCOS is not autoimmune. PCOS is going to be actually pretty easy to reverse as well. That is insulin resistance, liver issues, things like that. So autoimmune is going to be the basic idea. So I want each and every one of you to get out a piece of paper and to start taking notes, start writing down, because I'm going to give you lots of information for each and every one of these systems, okay? And when you think about this, think about systems as these things. Systems are these things that are driving this inflammatory process, driving this inflammation, driving your body to attack its own tissue. I have POTS from COVID. It's autoimmune? Probably not. It's probably adrenal, some different things. We've never failed at helping somebody reverse their POTS from COVID. How do you reverse PCOS? You get a continuous glucose monitor and you stabilize your blood sugar. Absolutely. So autoimmune, write this down. Don't put autoimmune in there. Write whatever autoimmune conditions you have been labeled with, you have been diagnosed with. Write that down in here. MS, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, celiac, Raynaud's, whatever it is, write those down in there, because this is going to be your roadmap to figuring out what is actually going on. This is going to be specifically for you. I became vegetarian to minimize inflammation. I'm sorry, Sophie. You're probably not stabilizing your blood sugar, which is one of the big ones we are going to get to. So here's the deal, guys. You need to know exactly what's going on with your body. So I'm going to give you some very specific numbers that I want you to write down, lab tests that you need to be doing, and things that you can do for each and every one of these systems. Again, remember, if you're getting in late, if you have to jump early, this is being recorded and we will get you a copy as soon as it processes once we're done. So DM me your name and email and we will get it for you. So the first thing we're looking at, and this is going to be backwards for everybody in the Zoom world, but it's going to be right for everybody in the TikTok world. This is blood sugar. So blood sugar is so important for autoimmune. It's actually so important. This is why we started testing blood sugar multiple years ago. If you guys have not got a copy of my free Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie book, it's in my link tree on TikTok, otherwise in Zoom. If you guys want a copy, Brittany, if you can let them know how they can get a copy of this. So you can grab it on Amazon if you want the physical copy, or you can get a free e-copy of my book, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie, and I would love to give that to you guys tonight for watching this webinar. But blood sugar is absolutely crucial. Most people, hey Lisa, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. My thought process with blood sugar is like this. If your blood sugar spikes up, Thank you for that, Rose. If your blood sugar crashes down, you are going to rev up the immune system and you are going to destroy more tissue. Amy, you've never had your A1C checked? It doesn't really matter because a lot of people that have an A1C that's okay are still going to be bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down. So if we think about it, we've got a good range that we want our blood sugar to be in. So we've got this good range that we want that blood sugar to be in, and your average might be right here. So your A1C might be okay, but if your blood sugar is doing this, every time your blood sugar spikes up, it's going to cause the body to secrete more insulin. And when I'm talking about this range, write this down, 85 to 110 is where you want your blood sugar to be. 85 to 110 is where you want your blood sugar to be. Morning, night, fasting, non-fasting, it doesn't matter. 85 to 110. So if your blood sugar spikes up over that, there's a very good chance that you're having this insulin dump, and insulin in excess is going to stimulate the immune system and you're going to destroy more tissue. So we all know high blood sugar is bad. But for autoimmune, low, just like Amy from Indiana, mine's normally in the 70s, low blood sugar is actually more damaging to your autoimmune than the highs. So we know highs, that's going to lead to diabetes and you're going to get all these issues from that. But the lows, if you're going under 85, especially under 80, if you're in the 60s, if you're in the 50s, and if you're in the 70s, you are creating more autoimmune damage. How do we know that? Because one of the things that happens is on top of the kidneys sit the adrenals. And when that blood sugar crashes down, the adrenals are stimulated to tell the liver to release glucose into the bloodstream. So now we've got more glucose in the bloodstream, but we are also having adrenaline. We're having this cortisol response, this adrenal response into the bloodstream, and this is also going to rev up the immune system and you're going to destroy more tissue. How many of you guys are dealing with random anxiety? Put random anxiety down below if you are dealing with random anxiety. So this is not just going to be like I'm an anxious person, but like I'm walking down the aisle at the grocery store and boom, it hits me. Random anxiety, random anxiety. Oh my gosh, what? I think everything's fine, but then I just feel anxious. Here's the deal. That there is a reason. Somebody said random anxiety, no reason. Lisa said yes. Shannon said yes. Shannon, if you want to put your podcast down below, put a shout out for your podcast. We'd love to let everybody know. I was just on Shannon's podcast today, so we'll shoot that one out. So random anxiety. You guys want to know what random anxiety is from? Random anxiety, over 90% of the time, is because of this. It's because of a blood sugar drop. When you go hypoglycemic and your blood sugar crashes down, here's what happens, is you get this adrenaline response to tell the liver to release glucose. And so every time you go hypoglycemic, not only do you get tired and spacey, anybody get hangry? Give me a heart if you guys get hangry out there or a loved one gets hangry. It's not just about getting hangry. Every time your blood sugar crashes down, you're going to get this adrenaline dump. Hey, Ryder, thanks for that, Rose. You're going to get an adrenaline dump, and so then you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I've got anxiety, I'm worried. How many of you guys in the middle of the night are waking up and your mind's racing, your heart's racing, waking up and your gastroparesis? Ashley, send me a message. We have never failed at helping somebody reverse their gastroparesis. Hypoglycemia in the 40s, that's pretty low. I almost go blind. Yeah, I would guess. How many of you put down a towel before you go to bed? Because you're waking up in a sweat. You know, that this is, you're sweating, you're waking up just drenched, and you're like, man, I don't have to change my sheets. I start trembling when mine drops. Absolutely. You are in a fight or flight reaction. My husband pools my bed. Yeah, wow. So if you are waking up, here's a little trick. Write this down, guys. If you guys are waking up and having a hard time getting back to sleep, your mind's racing, your heart's racing, you're having an adrenaline response, anything at all, if you're waking up Yeah, hey, glad I'm giving you some hope there, Amy. If you're waking up and this adrenaline dump is happening, I almost guarantee it's because you're having a low blood sugar reaction. This is happening throughout the day as well. And so if you're getting that random anxiety. So every time you go hypoglycemic, think about this. If you are worried about your autoimmune, every time you go hypoglycemic, you are revving up and destroying more tissue. My rheumatologist never told me about the effect from high or low blood sugar. No, that's not their job to change and modify your lifestyle. Their job is to prescribe you $10,000 a month Humira. Their job is to prescribe you low-dose chemo, methotrexate. Their job is to give you prednisone to squash the immune system. That's it. It's not going to be to do any of these things that we're going to be talking about. Here's the problem. How many of you guys are taking Ozempic, Mounjaro, any of these weight loss drugs? How many of you guys are taking one of these? Put down which one that you're taking. So I'm going to tell you why it is very dangerous to be taking one of these drugs if you have an autoimmune disease and you are not tracking your blood sugar. Okay, this is why we use a continuous glucose monitor. A continuous glucose monitor, we slap it on the back of the arm. It checks your blood sugar 24/7 and tells you exactly what that blood sugar is supposed to be doing. We used to only be able to get it to patients. Now we're able to get them down below. If you want to start with a CGM, it's a great place to start. So here's the deal. Michelle is on Mounjaro. All these people are on Ozempic, Mounjaro, Jen's on Wegovy. So you're on these medications, and the FDA says they can cause extreme hypoglycemia. So being on these medications can cause extreme hypoglycemia. What does that mean? That means you are going to have this crash. You're going to have this adrenaline dump. You're going to have this liver kicking out glucose. You're going to have this increased autoimmune reaction. So if you are not tracking your blood sugar, if you're on one of these medications and you have an autoimmune disease, I almost guarantee you are going to be destroying more tissue. So this is it bad to have high white blood cell count? Stick with us. We're going to get to the infections here in a little bit. So again, guys, welcome everybody. Dr. Ben Galyardt, f8wellcenters.com is our website, office in Colorado, and we've got labs all over the United States, every single town I can get you to. If you are coming in late, if you're leaving early, DM me with your email address and I will get you a copy of this webinar. Love seeing you guys. We're also basically giving away our blood work tonight. We've got our Black Friday special that we extended into December. It's a $3,000 blood panel for $349. You get the exam, you get the report of findings, the metabolic assessment with myself or one of my amazing F8 doctors that can help you get your life back. So let me know if you got any questions on that. So here's what we're looking at. Every time you take Ozempic, Mounjaro, any of these drugs, you have the chance of causing extreme hypoglycemia. If you are not tracking it with a continuous glucose monitor, you have no idea, and you are going to be causing more damage. I guarantee you're going to be going too low. LDN is nice, but it doesn't fix your blood sugar. It doesn't fix your adrenals. It doesn't fix your leaky gut. It helps calm it down, but it does not fix anything. All right, so blood sugar is a huge part of this process. It's why I wrote my book. It's why every single one of our patients gets a continuous glucose monitor. It is why we do what we do, and I always say, upwards of 95% of people in the United States, if everyone would stabilize their blood sugar between 85 and 110, we would reverse 90 to 95% of all chronic conditions. Does it take time for your body to adapt to having a stable blood sugar? It's going to take time for some people to stabilize it, but for most patients, even in the first 30 days, they are able to get their blood sugar stabilized. And as they do that, we're able to see people lose 5, 10, 15 pounds in the first month. One patient today, she was down 11 pounds in 3 weeks. We just started with her. Another patient in 6 weeks, she's down 18 pounds and doing amazing. So here's what we do. Blood sugar. A couple things you have to think about. One, you have to be tracking your blood sugar. If you want to stabilize it, you have to be tracking it in order to know when it's going high, when it's going low. That's why we use a CGM and see all the changes there. So what you need to do is if your blood sugar is crashing down, and if you're having these hypoglycemic events, you probably need more fat or more protein. Almost every single one of you, especially if you're a female, and especially even if you're active, you need way more protein probably than you're getting. So many of you guys are getting 30, 40, 50 grams of protein a day. Add it up, use one of those apps, whatever you have to do. But most women need upwards of 100 grams of protein. If you're working out consistently throughout the week, you probably need 100 or 130 or 120, 130 grams of protein per day if you're a female. And so it is challenging to get that for a lot of women, especially if they're not used to eating much protein. And that is going to really be something that's going to keep it from crashing down, but also fat. So if your fat is not enough, you could be crashing down there. So blood sugar stabilization, we've got to do it. We've got to get your blood sugar stabilized. So then from there, we're going to go into the adrenal glands. And so again, everybody on Zoom, go ahead and keep putting your questions down below, and I will get to those. We're going to do our live Q&A. I will get to all those questions as soon as we are done here with going through these different systems. So a bunch of new faces on here. Again, Dr. Ben Galyardt, F8WellCenters.com. We're going in depth into autoimmune secrets of things you're not being told, how you can reverse these things, and you're going to be able to see amazing changes. If you're jumping in early or late and gotta go, we can get you a copy of this webinar for free. Just send us a DM with your information. How many of you guys had autoimmune flare up? My book, you can download it in the link tree, or there's a link on Zoom. How many of you guys had autoimmune flare after a stressful event? Put down what that stressful event was. Death, divorce, trauma, drama, work issue, all types of different things. Put it down below what that stressful event was. Mom died, daily stress, work issue, stressful event, daughter's wedding, divorce, shingles. The shingles was actually from the stress. Childbirth, that's going to be estrogenic event. We'll get to that in a second. Moving out of state, pregnancy, estrogenic event, Epstein-Barr virus, infection. So we've got infection here. We've got estrogenic event there. Work stress, daily stress, lost house. Flu, that's infection, death, new job, all the things stressful, moving, divorce, death, sister died, dad died, brother died, mother died, holy cow, bless you there, being in bad relationships, stressful life, managing 5 apartment buildings, pregnancy, that's going to be estrogenic events. So you guys are dealing with all of these different traumas, all these different stressors, and that can drive your autoimmune reaction. So stressful events can drive your autoimmune. So how important is it to keep the adrenals stabilized, to keep your body out of this stressful time and stressful reaction? Absolutely, it's huge. So what needs to happen? You need to check, so blood sugar we like at 85 to 110. Adrenals, you need to check your cortisol and your DHEA. Somebody write these down below. Cortisol, I like your cortisol in the blood work 8 to 12, okay? Check cortisol, 8 to 12, and DHEA. DHEA, I like that for women, about 200 to 250, okay? And these numbers are very, very important because it gives us a window, a picture you can see in that window and go, okay, that is what is going on inside your adrenals. And so if your cortisol, 2 ways it can go, we can go high on the cortisol, which is going to tell us you still have juice left in the adrenals, but you're in this fight or flight. So Kirby, cortisol of 14.9. If you know your cortisol, put it down below and I'll tell you what's probably going on. So cortisol at 14.9, thank you for that example, that is going to be this adrenal overload, this adrenal fight or flight, constant go, 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 go. Eventually it is going to crash, just like Jocelyn's at 5, Tony's at 1.9. 8 under 8 is now adrenal fatigue, adrenal crash. The body has already crashed. Cool Mama's at 2.2. So Julie's at 2. You guys have crashed on the adrenals already. So that's adrenal fatigue. You're not going to stabilize your blood sugar. You're going to have all these other issues. And so cortisol 7.7, again, that's low. Lena 12.7, that's too high. So if you have too high of cortisol, we've got to calm you down, slow you down without crashing. And if you're too low, we've got to build those adrenals back up and give you a boost. But if you're low cortisol, it's going to be tough to have get up and go, tough to have fight or flight. But either way, here's where it gets into the rest of the hormones. If your cortisol is out of balance, if you're calling for more cortisol, fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. If you're calling for more cortisol, you're going to be stealing it from DHEA. So here's how it goes. DHEA turns into testosterone, and we can either go towards DHEA or we can go towards cortisol. And so if somebody is chronically going towards cortisol, they're not going to be going towards DHEA. And if you're not going towards DHEA, that means you're also not making enough testosterone. So put down below your total testosterone. Everybody put down below if you know what your last testosterone is. And so if you guys have not gotten out your blood work yet, get out your blood work, because I'm going to be asking you and having you look at these different numbers all throughout here. So your DHEA should be about 200 to 250. And if your DHEA is lower than that, then I guarantee you your testosterone is going to be low as well. For a female, I want your testosterone up around 35 to 40. Okay? So we had a 2, we had a 12. So if your guys' testosterone 7.2, you have low testosterone. Why is this important? Amy's got a 12. This is important because testosterone is motivation, it's libido, it's muscle tone, it's your sex drive, your get up and go, all of these different things. If you've never been tested, Rebecca, if it's 60, you probably have PCOS and you probably have insulin resistance, and that's a whole nother story. But I always say the female's low testosterone is considered, is directly proportional to the amount of adrenal stress somebody's under. So if you, Rose, testosterone less than 3, absolutely. So if you are in this chronic fight or flight pattern, you're going to be continually trying to make cortisol, and you're not going to be making DHEA, and you're not going to be making testosterone. And so you're going to have low muscle tone. You're not going to have any sex drive. You're not going to have motivation. You're not going to want to get up and go and do all those things. Ferritin of 17 is anemia. It's low iron. And I don't have PCOS or insulin resistance. I would be surprised, you Rebecca, unless you're tracking your blood sugar, unless you're checking your insulin non-fasting, you really don't know if you have insulin resistance. So let's get back to that for blood sugar real quick. You guys, I didn't give you all the rest of the numbers. The other things you have to look at, you need to check your blood work non-fasting. Almost everybody is being told to do blood work fasting, but you need to do your blood work non-fasting. You need to test your insulin non-fasting, so have eaten that day. You need to check your glucose non-fasting, your triglycerides non-fasting, and you will find insulin resistance. 99% of the people that have insulin resistance, it will not show up if you sit down and you do a fasting insulin test. You're going to miss it. Absolutely. So you've got to check those markers. I like insulin under 12. Write this stuff down. I like insulin under 12. I like triglycerides under 100, and for non-fasting glucose, 85 to 110. So how do you fix low testosterone? Great question. It's not by taking more testosterone. It's not just by taking more testosterone. I have women, and for whatever reason, do I have any Texas women? Put a Texas flag or the Texas state emoji down below if you're from Texas. I've got so many Texas women patients that are taking testosterone. They're getting the pellet in the hip, and I'll see testosterone of 200, 250, 300, 350. Everything's bigger in Texas, I guess, but and so I like testosterone 35 to 40 for women. So here's the problem though. They're taking all this testosterone and yet they still don't have a sex drive. They're still not feeling great. They're still not like, oh my gosh, this made all the difference in the world just because they have a bunch of testosterone now. So we can't just give somebody testosterone and say, hey, now you're fixed. We have to think about the physiology. So why is it low in the first place? Well, it's because we're trying to create more cortisol and this stress response. So then what do? Well, we think about the adrenals and we think about what causes adrenal stress. And the top two reasons that I see, blood sugar dips, hypoglycemia, as well as chronic infection. So we need to figure out why that's there. Yes, you need to get your stress under control. You need to not worry. You need to, get all these things calmed down. But it is the blood sugar dips and it is the infections that we have to do. Thyroid TPO antibodies 818. What does that mean? You have autoimmune. You have Hashimoto's. So if you want more testosterone, you have to not go over here and you have to make more of this. Potentially bring in some DHEA. We may do that down the road, but you have to fix your adrenals first. How do you find chronic infection? We're going to get to that in a second. So adrenals, this is a big reason why. So many of you guys blame, we've got a lot of Hashimoto's women on here. So many of you blame your Hashimoto's for everything. But put down below what symptoms you think your Hashimoto's is giving you. Where can you find DHEA? In supplement form, just send me a DM. I'll get you the best one out there. Cortisol 6.7 is not normal. That's low. So tell me some Hashimoto's symptoms that you got. Oh, I was reading this. So foggy brain, dizziness, anxiety, fatigue, joint pain. Talk about lupus. Yeah, I'm talking about lupus now. Everything I'm talking about is about every autoimmune disease. How to send a DM? Just click on my page. Anxiety, fatigue, hair loss, dry skin, tired, achy joints, joint pain, constipation, fatigue. I'm gonna tell you guys that Hashimoto's, I'm gonna beg to differ opinion here. Hashimoto's does not cause vitiligo. Hashimoto's does not cause dizziness. Hashimoto's does not cause lightheadedness. Hashimoto's does not cause brain fog. Hashimoto's does not cause psoriasis. It does not cause joint pain. It does not cause any of those things. Remember, when we're talking about autoimmune, there is one thing that each autoimmune condition can do. So if you have rheumatoid arthritis, that can cause destruction of that joint. Period. It's not going to cause you to gain weight. It's not going to cause you to have joint swelling. The damage could ultimately lead to more swelling, but that's not going to do it. So with your thyroid, this is the only thing that can happen with Hashimoto's. If you have TPO antibodies, the only thing that can happen is you can tag your thyroid and your body can start destroying your thyroid. That's it. It will not cause brain fog. It will not cause joint pain. It will not cause any of these other things. The only thing Hashimoto's will cause is your body to attack its own thyroid. And so then eventually you could actually have lower thyroid hormone in your body. Okay, so maybe you've got low thyroid hormone in the body, and then that could cause you to gain some weight. That could cause you to be cold. Here's the low thyroid symptoms: cold easily, hard time losing weight, cry at commercials, maybe constipated. Some of those things. Thyroid globulin antibodies. We'll get to that in a second. So, if you have Hashimoto's, the only thing that can lead to long term is going to be hypothyroid. It can actually lead to hyperthyroid if you're in a flare. If you're in an autoimmune flare, it could actually cause hyperthyroid. So don't blame all of these other things on your Hashimoto's, because here's the deal. If Hashimoto's causes hypothyroid hormone in your body and you take thyroid hormone, you replace it, and you're taking levothyroxine, you're taking Synthroid, Armour, NP-thyroid, whatever, and now you've got plenty. Most people come in, they have plenty of thyroid hormone because they're taking replacement. Then if it was Hashimoto's that caused all of your problems, taking a hormone replacement would fix it. But here's the deal. You feel bad. Mrs. G, I love how passionate you are. Thank you. You are so welcome. You feel bad, not because of this, not because of what is happening at the thyroid. You feel bad because of all of these other systems that are out of balance that are causing that autoimmune reaction. You feel bad with rheumatoid arthritis, not just because it's attacking your joint, but because all of these other systems are off. You feel bad, you can't lose weight, you're inflamed, all of these other things because of all these systems, not just because of this little autoimmune reaction going on right at that one location. Does that make sense? So don't blame Hashimoto's for all of your symptoms. Blame your systems for creating Hashimoto's and your systems for being out of balance that cause your symptoms. Your systems cause symptoms. That is what we're getting to, guys. Okay, so we know we've got blood sugar. We know we've got adrenal issue we got to get to. And if you guys are jumping in late, if you've got to head out, send me over your email address. I will get you a DM. For all of you that are interested in digging deep and figuring out how to get to the underlying root cause of what is truly going on inside your body and then get to fix it, I'm going to give you the best price of our year on blood work. It's a $3,000 panel. You're going to get the exam. You're going to get the report of findings, the metabolic assessment. It's an hour-and-a-half questionnaire of all these different systems, all these things. Where you're going to get that for $349. It's our Black Friday, now extended into Christmas special, and I would love to get that to you guys. You're not going to find it cheaper. It's going to go up after the first year. It's going to go up over $200 back to our regular price. So blood sugar, adrenals. Then we get into vitamin D. So everybody write down vitamin D, and I want you, if you have autoimmune, how do you get the blood work? Click the link tree if you're on TikTok, or that special is in the Zoom chat down below as well. Vitamin D, your vitamin D, if you have an autoimmune disease, needs to be up at 80. Absolutely, 100%. Jocelyn, if you have an autoimmune disease and yours is at 50. So everybody put down below what your vitamin D was at. We had a 12, we had a 30. Put down below what 41 there for Amy, 23. If you have autoimmune, your vitamin D needs to be up at 80. So all these people are low vitamin D. So it's actually pretty easy to get your vitamin D up. And why is it so important? The vitamin D modulates the immune response. It turns it up at the right time and turns it down at the right time. We don't want the immune system going all the time. This is kind of a telltale sign. How many of you guys don't get sick very often? How many of you guys you're like, oh yeah, everybody else got sick and I don't get sick? Or you get sick all the time. But a lot of people that have autoimmune, their immune system is just revved up all the time and they don't get sick. So vitamin D modulates that immune system. Turn it up at the right time, turn it down. I always get sick all the time. Yeah, Victoria, it's usually one way or the other. Look at all these, I never get sick. So you're either getting sick all the time or you're never getting sick. So vitamin D, you guys want to learn the easiest way to get your vitamin D up. It's pretty easy. You get outside between 11 and 1 every day in your bikini. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you guys are ready for that. 11 to 1 direct sunlight in your bikini. Everybody ready to get your vitamin D up? It's free. Come on. In winter, hey, come on. You'd be all right. It'd toughen you up. It's kind of like a cold plunge. Brave guy's gonna do it. No way. Haha, Canadian here. Yeah, snow here. Live in the United Kingdom. Too cold. It's 20 degrees. Yeah. So here's the deal, guys. Plus hypothermia. Yeah. All right. So, okay, you're not gonna get enough vitamin D, especially this time of year. So you're gonna have to take vitamin D externally. Super easy. If you guys, tanning beds, we're gonna get to that in a second, or a lamp. If you want the best vitamin D that we've been able to find, we have a DK combo. Send me a DM and we'll get you what we get to our patients. That's doable here in Texas. Yeah, it probably is. But I was in Dallas quite a few winters, and it is not not that nice to be able to get outside. There's definitely some cold days. Okay, so you can take vitamin D. It's probably going to take you at least 10,000 to get up to the vitamin D up to 80, and so you need to check that. If you're taking that much, you need to check those. So then the next step is going to be tanning beds. I've had a lot of patients go to the tanning bed 5-10 minutes a couple times a week. Don't go and get like tan leathery skin. It's just enough to get some pigmentation stimulated to get that, create that vitamin D. You could also get a lamp. My wife's got an over the door. You can get different types of bulbs in there and get your vitamin D that way. But vitamin D is crucial for autoimmune. It modulates that immune response. So you've got to get that vitamin D up. Absolutely not going to tanning beds. Well, Kayla, if you can take the pills, some people, they are not able to absorb vitamin D from the pills, and so you're not going to get an infrared lights. You can try the infrared light and recheck your blood work and see if it goes up. Is Meniere's disease autoimmune? No, it is not. Is a happy light vitamin D? I'm not sure. You just have to try it, check your vitamin D again, and see if it goes up. Okay, because even with doing some of these lights or going to a tanning bed, it may only go up to like 40 or 50 or 60. You may still need to take some orally. All right, now let's get into estrogenic events. How many of you guys had an autoimmune flare after an estrogenic event? So that would be having a pregnancy, that would be going through puberty, going through menopause, having birth control pills, stopping birth control, Amanda did. Remember, birth control pill is not hormone suppression, it's actually hormone replacement. You're actually taking more. So if it was after a kid, what about go through IVF? Absolutely, that throws off your estrogen. Which kid was it? Put down what number kid that was, and we can guilt them and shame them a little bit. That they trashed their mama. So it was your first one, Jess. Yeah, you can guilt that first one. Lena, third kid. Because here's the deal. I've got four teenage boys, and they blame me for everything. So Graves after the fourth child. Yeah, they're gonna blame me for everything. So we might as well blame them for a little bit, right? Here's what we're looking at: is estrogenic swings can stimulate autoimmune. I've got at least 6 teenage girls right now that I'm working with that have multiple autoimmune conditions each. And actually, I've got a set of twins in Ohio. Let me know. She's on a lot of these calls. If you're on here watching, give a shout out. We've got a set of twins in Ohio that are actually reversing their autoimmune conditions, and that their numbers are going away. They're going negative, and able to see those. So estrogenic events can drive autoimmunity. And one of the things that we need to do is make sure that your liver is clearing out hormones, that your liver is processing as well as possible. So some different markers that you want to test, write these down: AST, ALT, and GGT. Those are all liver enzymes, and they should all be under 20. Okay, so they should all be under 20. If any of you guys have to jump and you did not get to watch the whole webinar, or you're just getting in now and want to know what all these other things are, send me a DM and send me your email, and I will get you a copy of tonight's replay. So when can we do questions? We're going to do the live Q&A in about another 20 minutes. So estrogenic events, the best thing that you can do is make sure your liver is processing as well as possible. Make sure that if you're going into menopause, your adrenals are working as well as possible, because if your adrenals are not working well, they produce a lot of estrogen, and as your ovaries stop, you're going to need your adrenals to produce the rest of those. So AST, ALT, and GGT, we need to make sure those are under 20 estrogenic events. How about infections? So infections, tell me this, guys. GGT is going to tell us about fatty liver. Can milk thistle help? It's not going to be that great. So yeah, Epstein-Barr virus. Here we go, guys. Infections, Epstein-Barr virus. Put EBV down below if you have had Epstein-Barr virus, or they call it mono, if you've had that. And we know that, just do a quick Google search for EBV and autoimmune, and you'll see National Institutes of Health, all these different publications saying Epstein-Barr virus is directly correlated with 6-8 different autoimmune conditions, some of the big ones out there. So if you have had Epstein-Barr virus, if you have chronic, any other type of chronic herpes, hepatitis, that's going to be driving that immune response. If you have had bacterial infections like H. pylori, chronic H. pylori, if you've had C. diff, any of these things, you're going to be driving this immune inflammatory process. POTS, absolutely, Leslie. We've never failed at helping somebody reverse their POTS. Are mono and Epstein-Barr virus related? Yes, Epstein-Barr virus causes mono. That absolutely. Had hepatitis. Can you actually fully get rid of Epstein-Barr virus? Maybe, but probably not. The idea is not to get rid of Epstein-Barr virus. The idea is to get your body as strong as feasibly possible and keep it in remission. Katharina has both H. pylori and Epstein-Barr virus. Here's how you know if you have a chronic infection in your body. Look at your white blood cell count. Somebody write this down. WBC, look at that WBC. It should be between 5 and 8. If your white blood cell count is higher than that, you've got an acute infection going on. If your white blood cell count is less than 5, it's usually a chronic infection. So many of you guys are dealing with chronic infection in a really good way. Hey, Spring Ann, good night. We'll see you later. Yep, get this. Follow our page. If you have not already followed our page, go ahead and click that follow button, and we would love to keep you guys on there. So less than 5, and it's a chronic infection. And here's the other numbers that you need to look at. Lymphocyte percentage. If your lymphocyte percentage is over 38%, it's a viral infection. If it's over 58% for neutrophils, that's a bacterial infection. So lymphocytes and neutrophils are telling us whether it's a virus or a bacteria. Okay, so now we know, okay, you've got a 4.7 white blood cell count and your lymphocytes are at 42. You have a chronic viral infection. Yes, we might need to do some vitamin C, some vitamin A, some lysine, some different things, but we've got to get your body as strong as feasibly possible. Can a chronic infection cause the onset of POTS? Sure. It's usually more adrenal issue, but it could be, it's usually, the POTS we see is actually from COVID or COVID shots. Does lymphocytes value mean percent? So you need to look at the percent. So it'll say absolute. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the percent. So lymphocytes, somebody write this down. So Melinda's got a white blood cell count of 3.6. Somebody write this down. Lymphocytes, we want that less than 38%. Neutrophils, we want it less than 58%. White blood cell count, 5 to 8. Okay. And what is the time frame for your protocol for Hashimoto's? That 3 to 6 months is usually what it takes, depending on how many systems somebody has out of balance. Okay, so chronic infections are going to keep that immune system on red alert, and it's going to be toiling red alert. Oh my gosh, what about this? What about that? And it could go, ooh, I'm going to attack that. I'm going to attack that. Grace, thanks for being on. If you got to jump, we will get you the recordings, guys. Don't worry. I know I'm going over. It's already 8, isn't it? So I'm going to try to speed up here, guys, and then get to the live Q&A. So infections, a huge part of it. The number one thing we can do with infections is get your body as strong as feasibly possible. That's the big part of where we're going. Then we've got leaky gut. So with leaky gut, we've got to heal up the small intestine lining. What if neutrophils are over 58%? That is bacterial infection. And you've got to start working on killing off, usually in the gut, we've got to start killing off bad bacteria in there. So with leaky gut, if you have an autoimmune disease, you have leaky gut. Don't worry about testing. Don't worry about blood test, poop test, whatever it is. You need to fix the underlying reasons why you have a leaky gut. The small intestine lining is a barrier. It's supposed to keep things out, but you're allowing things into the bloodstream. It stimulates the immune response, and it is going to cause a lot of problem. Vic, the numbers where people typed them in up above, just scroll up there, you'll find it. Yes, Laura, I'm talking about MS right now. Get this, guys, a bunch of new faces on here. Dr. Ben, F8 Will Centers. I'm talking about MS, I'm talking about lupus, I'm talking about Hashimoto's, I'm talking about celiac, I'm talking about Raynaud's, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis. We're talking about Crohn's disease, all of these different autoimmune conditions. We're talking about those because it's the same underlying why. You have to fix the whys. There is no MS protocol. There is no Hashimoto's protocol. There is no Hashimoto's and lupus and Crohn's protocol for those people that have all three of those. There is no protocol. And actually, I don't care which autoimmune disease you have. Lisa, yeah, sir, yeah, absolutely. It's the same thought process, Lisa. So here's the deal. I don't care what autoimmune disease you have. Okay, I really don't care. That does not matter to me. I mean, obviously it does because I love you guys and I don't want you to have autoimmune and any of those things. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter on how you're going to be treated because you're going to be treated from a foundational base perspective where we're going to fix these underlying things. So again, neutrophils, we want under 58%, lymphocytes under 38%. How do you know if you have leaky gut? Vic, here's the deal. Do you have an autoimmune disease? Do you guys have an autoimmune disease? If you say yes, then you've got leaky gut. Unless you have actively dealt with leaky gut, significant time, work through it, and are actively working on helping that gut lining over time, then you still have leaky gut, absolutely. So here's how you heal leaky gut. It's the 4 R's. And sorry guys, I'm going over on time. I said it was going to be an hour. It's already been an hour, and I'm still going. So how do you heal leaky gut? Do you recommend immunoglobulins ever? Yes, we actually have some serum derived immunoglobulins that are really helpful for it. Is psoriasis considered autoimmune? Absolutely. So here's what happens. Leaky gut, you have to do the 4 R's. Number 1, you have to remove potential food allergens while you're in the healing phase. So that would be gluten, corn, soy, dairy. That would be nightshades, nuts and seeds, legumes, beans, all of these different foods that could be inflammatory. You're going to remove those. You're also going to remove bad things out of the gut. So you're going to take, my favorite is our oil of oregano. It's a time-released oil of oregano. I've used it for over 20 years with patients, seen phenomenal results, ADP. If you want a link to that one, we can get you a copy of that, or a link to that. Send me a DM with just oil of oregano on there, and I will get you a link for that one. So the kill off is where you're going to remove the bad stuff. You're going to remove the bad foods. You're going to take that out 2 to 4 weeks. And then once you're done killing off the bad stuff, then you bring in the good stuff. Good. Corinne uses the ADP. Great job. Thank you for doing this. Chrissy, you are so welcome. If you've got to jump at all, DM me and we will get you a copy of the webinar. So nuts and beans, absolutely, Kendra. So short term, we've got to do that. We've got to pull all of those out. So you're going to take that out. Do not start probiotics until after you have done a kill-off phase. So you want to do probiotics after you do the kill-off. After you do the oil of oregano, then you come back in with the probiotics. And you're going to take it, and we may even need to do a few cycles of that. So I want you to kill off, I want you to build up, possibly kill off again, maybe a garlic-based one, some different things. I have sarcoidosis, will this help? Absolutely, because again, it doesn't matter what condition you have in the middle there, you have to fix. You have to fix the underlying why. So we've got our remove, we've got our reinoculate with the probiotics, and then you've got to replace any enzymes, stomach acid. If you've had your gallbladder out, you need to replace with bile salts. You've got to do everything you possibly can to make sure you're digesting your food as well as possible, so the time it gets to the digestive tract where it's irritated. Vitamin D. That's 80. Your vitamin D needs to be at 80. So you're at a remove, you're at a reinoculate, you're at a replace. So how many of you guys have had your gallbladder removed? Put down GB down below. Can you do a webinar on POTS? Yeah, I can do a webinar on POTS, or you can send me a DM and we can just fix you. We help patients all the time. So you've had your gallbladder replaced. If you are not taking bile salts, if you are not taking nutrients that help with bile, there's a very good chance that you're still not digesting very well, and you're probably not fixed from that also. So you may need to take some bile salts, some ox bile, some things like that. And then the fourth thing is you're going to repair. You're going to repair that gut lining. Things like L-glutamine, marshmallow root, aloe vera juice. I love Celtic sea salt. I've used it for 25 years. Aloe vera juice. You've got zinc carnosine, bone broth, collagen, fermented vegetables, all of these different things. You can start healing that gut lining. So leaky gut, it's a process, and you're going to have to do the 4 R's for it. You're probably going to have to do a autoimmune paleo diet, AIP diet, for 2 to 4 weeks. You're going to have to do some different things to help calm that down. Will this help lichen planus? Yes, if there's autoimmune component, absolutely. So we've got leaky gut, And then how about food allergens? So here's a big one. A lot of people talk about gluten, but how many of you guys are dealing with Hashimoto's? Put a heart down below if you guys are dealing with Hashimoto's. What can a vegan eat? A vegan can eat meat, vegetables, and good fats. So a lot of hearts there. Tell me this. Do you want to do something right now, today, to start slowing down and reversing your Hashimoto's? I would imagine most of you guys are going to say yes. So to fix your blood sugar, that might take you 2, 3, 4 weeks to do that. To help work on your adrenals and rebuild your adrenals, probably 4 to 8 weeks to do that. Leaky gut, it's going to be at least 2 to 4 weeks before you're really starting to heal up through there. Infections, that could be upwards of 3 months for that immune system. Estrogenic events, it could take a month or two to get. So think about this. The one thing you can do right now, today, this moment, is to never eat gluten again. And it's like this. Again, I've been doing this for almost 25 years, practicing functional medicine. So yes, Annie, vegan. So if you want to be healthy and be autoimmune, whether you're vegan or not, animal protein, good fats, and lots of vegetables. So if you want to make a change right now, if you have Hashimoto's, and almost any autoimmune, but definitely Hashimoto's is what the research shows, is that if you want to start reversing your Hashimoto's and not flare it up again, you need to stay away from gluten indefinitely. I don't even care if you test or don't test, because here's what happens. Gluten looks very similar to your thyroid. And when your body sees gluten come in, it can stimulate an attack on your thyroid as well. And not just for a day, not just for a week, not just for a month, but up to 6 months. Every time you ingest gluten, it can rev up your immune system for up to 6 months. Okay? Hey, DJ, you're so welcome. So here's where you need to go with it is don't just have a little bit. Don't just have once a week, once a day, once a month. Get rid of it. Get it out. And that is something you can do right now. And that is something that you can make a massive change. It's going to take time to make some of these other changes, but that's something you can do right now. So hopefully at least one of you guys will say, you know what, I'm not going to do that again. Total testosterone 78. Yeah, absolutely. That is too high. Yeah, I know, Victoria, it's not fun, but it is. It's not fair. It's not right. Any of these things. How many of you guys have had ANA high? How many of you guys have had ANA high and your doctor was like, well, I don't really know what it is. We're not going to treat that right now. We're not going to do anything. So if you guys have had ANA high, you have autoimmune. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's lupus or Sjogren's or mixed connective tissue or whatever, but they're going to wait. So you go to your doctor, you go to your rheumatologist, you go to whoever it is, and they go, well, you're not bad enough for us to treat you. Because here's what bad enough has to be. Bad enough has to be, Humira is $10,000 a month. Methotrexate is low-dose chemo and your hair's probably going to start falling out. Prednisone will... Nobody wants to be on prednisone long term, but it'll jack up your adrenals. It'll cause so many other things. Can you touch on cellular and cell energy? Vic, that's what I'm talking about. All this stuff affects your cellular health and your ATP. What makes ATP and what makes the cell function is going to be this. It's going to be oxygen and glucose. So everything we're talking about is talking about cellular health. There's no like magic cellular health program that you can do. That doesn't work. Fixing the underlying imbalances is what gets you your energy back. So your ANA is high, you have autoimmune. If your rheumatoid factor is high, if it's 14 or above, you have autoimmune. If your Hashimoto's markers, your TPO or your TG are high, you have autoimmune. If you have antibodies, you have autoimmune activity in your body. I don't care if we can diagnose it. I don't care if we know what it is. I don't care if we can label it. I care about your body. I care about the underlying systems that are out of balance, and that is what you need to be talking about. You need to be talking about and thinking about what systems are out of balance. And that's the thought. I'm going to be going into the live Q&A here in a second, so put your questions down below, and I will get to as many as I can. Just wanted to thank Brittany and Jessica, my team members who are on here. They're answering all the questions. They're responding. They put this up. So thank you guys. If you guys could all give them a heart, give them some love for everything that they do. Thank you guys. So let's get into this live Q&A part of it, and put your questions down below. And Brittany and Jess have been doing these, writing these down. So I'm going to go here. Okay, what's the difference between Graves and Hashimoto's? I'm gonna erase this so it doesn't look weird behind my head there. What's the difference between Graves and Hashimoto's? Graves, they're both autoimmune. Graves is going to be hyper, so it makes your thyroid go too high. And Casey, you have a good night. And then Hashimoto's ultimately will lead to low hypothyroid. So again, put your questions down below. What can you do for the dry eye, dry mouth syndrome you talked about? Sjogren's, it's the same thing. It's the same thought process. In that circle, you put in dry eyes, dry mouth. It's Sjogren's. You're going to fix your blood sugar. You're going to fix your adrenals. You're going to fix your liver. You're going to fix your leaky gut. You're going to fix your infections. You're going to fix environmental toxins. Thoughts on Humira besides it's expensive? It doesn't fix anything. It's suppressing the immune system. It doesn't fix your blood sugar. It doesn't fix your leaky gut. Okay. What if all your issues started after getting COVID and also a ton of antibiotics? So a lot of people, infections can drive autoimmune. So we have seen many patients that COVID drove their autoimmune. COVID shot drove their autoimmune. So many different people are going to be flared up by an infection. So yeah, absolutely. Shouldn't autoimmune show itself earlier in age rather than in the mid-50s? Very general thinking. No, Amber, it can come anytime. Autoimmune can come anytime. I see teenagers. We just found a 57-year-old last week that has type 1 diabetes. She did not know it. Now she knows she has type 1 diabetes. Again, not fair, not right. Let me jump over to this one here. And there's the Q&A. Is a person likely to die from lung disease, autoimmune? It all depends on the person and how bad it is. But here's what needs to happen is you need to fix the underlying whys no matter what, because you definitely could die from autoimmune lung disease. Just like I had a patient that had autoimmune hepatitis, autoimmune to her liver, and they were she was on the liver transplant list. They were going to remove her liver, put a new one in, but we were able to reverse all of the inflammatory process going on. She was able to keep her liver, and she is doing great now. Can autoimmune lung disease get healed? The reasons why that you're getting autoimmune lung disease can get healed, absolutely. But depending on the condition, I don't know. It's individualized. Can your program help someone who has multiple autoimmune conditions with underlying chronic infections, is underweight with stable blood sugar, or is it primarily for overweight people with blood sugar issues? The vast majority of my patients are not overweight, maybe 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, or maybe even underweight. But just because somebody is underweight does not mean they have stable blood sugar. And I'm going to challenge you guys. If you have, Paula, where's their practice? I'm in Colorado, but we have labs in every town in the United States. If you are not actively tracking your blood sugar, you have no idea if your blood sugar is stable. If you're not checking finger prick glucose monitoring 6 to 8 times per day or using a continuous glucose monitor, we were the first office in the United States to have every single one of our patients track their blood sugar with a finger prick glucose monitor. And then when we were able to get a continuous glucose monitor, we were the first office to have every single person do that. So here's the deal. We've got skinny people, we got fat people, we got old people, we got young people. It doesn't matter. We got sick people. And that's what we're talking about. Success rate for Sjogren's. I don't remember the last person that we weren't able to help them stop their Sjogren's. And so I don't fix, I don't heal, but we stop the systems that are causing Sjogren's. Last person that I just talked to this past week, 23-year-old in Pennsylvania. She's a dental hygienist with Sjogren's, and 6 weeks in, she doesn't have to use eye drops. She doesn't have to use the mouth rinse anymore. And I can't seem to lose weight no matter what I do. Lena, you're not getting to the underlying why. If you are not able to lose weight, anybody out there want to lose weight? I love this. I just had a patient, give me a heart if you want to lose weight. I just had a patient today I saw, she's 3 weeks into the program, she's down 11 pounds. Another patient, she's 6 weeks in, she's down 18 pounds. And I loved it because when we started, I was like, yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to be working through Thanksgiving, you're going to be working through Christmas, but you're going to be down weight, you're going to be losing weight. All of your friends, they're going to be up 5 or 10 pounds. You're going to be down 5 or 10 pounds. One's down 18 pounds already. So you have to fix the underlying whys. I'm not sure what that means. What are the 5 categories for autoimmune issues? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. If you want to get more specific, you can ask that one. And I'm trying to control gluten, dairy, sugar. What else would you suggest? Yeah, what else would I suggest? With any condition, it's the same thought process. You've got to do blood sugar. You've got to do leaky gut. You got to do vitamin D. You got to do all those things. How do you treat a chronic viral infection? There is no treatment for chronic viral infections. You can't say, ooh, take this, take that. You can take vitamin A, you can take lysine. We've got immune system glandular products that are really good. But ultimately, the way you treat a chronic and viral infection is to get your body as strong as possible. Why did my brother and his wife in their late 30s both have shingles? Do you guys know what shingles is? Shingles is a virus. It's the chickenpox virus that comes back later in life when you get super stressed out. They had a house fire. They had 3 little kids. They had to move out of their house, remodel the entire house, go through. All of their belongings were smoke damaged. They had to get rid of every single thing. They had it all, but they could never get the smell out of it, and they had to get rid of everything. It didn't just burn down, but it was just like sitting in their garage, and they couldn't even do anything with it. And they both got shingles in their late 30s. So how do you treat chronic viral infections? You get your body as strong as feasibly possible. So guys, Dr. Ben Galyardt, F8wellcenters.com. We get to the underlying root cause. If you are coming in late to this one, if you have to jump, DM me. We've got Autoimmune Solutions webinar going on right now. DM me. I will get you a copy of this. It's about an hour long plus the Q&A. I go in depth into each and every system that you need to be thinking about, what numbers you have to look at, what blood work you have to look at, and the solutions that you need for getting these answers and getting your life back. So would love to help you guys get those answers. I'm also giving away my free ebook, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie. You can get that book tonight. I've got a 5-part blood sugar masterclass you can also get in my link tree for free, over 6 hours of I talk about blood sugar and all the systems that affects. And then we have our biggest special of the year going on for blood work, exam, report of findings, metabolic assessment, everything we need to figure out exactly what's going on and figure out if we can help you and get you your life back. $349, it's a $3,000 blood panel and everything needed to help you figure this out. I need help, but I haven't heard back from your team. Hey, send us another message. If you just send an email, we almost always need your phone number. If you send an email, almost always the email gets kicked to junk mail or something like that. So can you still have Hashimoto's once you've had a complete thyroidectomy? me. Absolutely. Because taking out your thyroid does nothing for your blood sugar, for your leaky gut, for your vitamin D, for your infections, for your environmental toxins, for your estrogen. It does nothing for those things. So all you did was remove it. My wife, they removed her spleen because she had autoimmune to her platelets, but she still had autoimmune going on in her body. So if all you do is remove an organ, you don't fix anything. Can you reverse type 1 diabetes? I have never seen somebody regenerate the cells in their pancreas. What you can do is you can get your blood sugar a whole lot more stabilized. I've seen type 1 diabetics get down to 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. I've seen them average between 100 and 140, 90% of the time. I've seen them become very, very stable with type 1 diabetes. But here's the deal. Type 1 diabetes is the only disease, only autoimmune, besides Hashimoto's really that I know of, that the doctors are totally fine never treating. So your endocrinologist has never treated your type 1 diabetes. Anybody want to tell me I'm wrong, that their doctors treated their type 1 diabetes? And let's go here. Is there a best time to come off your immunosuppressant? The best time to come off an immunosuppressant is when you are working through fixing all of these different systems. Because if you have not fixed the systems and you just stop the immunosuppressant, it's going to come right back up. I'm deficient in vitamin D, even with booster doses. You probably need 10,000 a day. It would probably be a good number. Where would environment like mold fall into this, or even detox? Yeah, Vic, mold absolutely can drive autoimmune. We see it all the time. Any type of environmental toxins. Will you help people in Canada? My husband could probably benefit talking to you. Yes, Rachel, we've got a program specifically for our Canadian friends. Send me a DM. What's good for rheumatoid arthritis for 20 years? What's good for it? What's good for it is fixing your blood sugar, fixing your adrenals, fixing your leaky gut, fixing your environmental toxins, fixing your infections, all the things we've been talking about. All of those things. And you've got to fix the underlying whys. Otherwise, there's no amount of turmeric that's going to stop your rheumatoid arthritis. Christina, I'm currently taking semaglutide. Would I need to stop it for your program to work? No, Christina, not necessarily, but if our program is working, you won't need to take semaglutide, because you're taking semaglutide because your blood sugar is jacked and it's going to affect your blood sugar. But if you do our program, we help you fix your blood sugar, and so you don't need to take semaglutide. But Christina, I am very concerned with you taking semaglutide and having an autoimmune reaction going on in your body, because every time that blood sugar crashes down from that semaglutide, every time you go hypoglycemic, you rev up the immune response and you destroy more tissue. So if you're not tracking it, you definitely are going too low. Is liquid vitamin D better? Most of our patients, we don't have to do liquid vitamin D. We do not have to do liquid vitamin D. Most of our patients can do a very cheap, simple vitamin D pill, is all it takes. And let's go here. ANA positive. Chastity, ANA positive, you have autoimmune. Okay, awesome. I've started care with Dr. Jake. This is Jerry Lynn. Dr. Jake, and I have first appointment with Sazin tomorrow morning. Awesome, Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn, send me a DM or send me an email and tell me what you have going on. I love to hear the stories that I don't get to meet everybody. So ANA positive titer, you have autoimmune. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it's diagnosed as. You have autoimmune. Can you have negative ANA and still have autoimmune? Yes, ANA just tells us about Sjogren's, lupus, mixed connective tissue disorder, maybe a couple other ones, but there's over 190 named autoimmune conditions. Is the blood work a lot of vials of blood? I have POTS and getting lab draws make me really sick. So Valerie, if that's a huge issue, so through LabCorp, it's about I think 6 or 7 vials, but we can do it through Vibrant America, where we send you a kit and you go to the lab and they draw it with 2 vials. So Valerie, if that's an issue, just when you talk to my new patient coordinators, just tell them that what the issue is, and you can go there. Do we need to give up gluten? If you have Hashimoto's, you need to give up gluten. So negative ANA means no lupus? Potentially, but ANA can do this. ANA can bounce up, bounce down, up and down, up and down, up and down, over and over and over. So there's a very good chance if you had ANA once, you have autoimmune. It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative again. Do I need to give up gluten if I have rheumatoid arthritis? It's probably going to be helpful. Dark red fingers always since February. Ever seen that? What causes it? Tammy, it could be Raynaud's, which is autoimmune. My mom has ulcerative colitis and wants to get off Humira. How would she go about your protocol while on that medication? It's the same thing. So if you're on Humira, if you're on methotrexate, if you're on prednisone, I've got lots of patients on those. I've got a lady I just talked to today that she was diagnosed with lupus and she's on medications for it. And she came in with chronic pain, like 7 or 8 out of 10 every day. And in 6 weeks, she is down to a level 3, and that's mostly in her feet. And she say it's more of an annoyance than a chronic pain. So again, welcome everybody. Put your questions down below. I'm new here. How does your program work? We get you blood work done. I'm in Colorado, but myself and my doctors, we work with probably 95% of our patients around the country, and we have labs in every single town in the U.S., and we can get you your blood work run and figure out exactly what is going on. What do you recommend? I cancel my infusion next week if I'm planning on starting with your team, or would you recommend? No, I'm not going to tell you to not do your infusion or do your infusion. That's up to you, especially if you're like, man, if I don't do it for a week or a month, however often you do it, and then you flare up even worse, then that's probably not worth it to just stop it, and we may need to help your systems calm down first. But if you actually do pretty well without it, and you're like, I wasn't seeing any differences, and we're going to get started and cranking very quickly, then you may not need to do another one. Let's go here. Daughter diagnosed with POTS, not in control of it at all. Any education you can give for her? Yeah, Kathy. It's almost always adrenals. It's almost always electrolytes. Almost always the dysautonomia, and we can like legit. I was just talking to one of my doctors, Dr. Jake. He's amazing. He's the smartest guy in the room. And just saying, I don't remember the last POTS patient that we did not help them reverse their POTS. I've got a patient in Tampa right now that within 4 weeks, she was not having any more dizziness, any more tinnitus, any more, which was ringing the ears, any more vertigo. It was gone in 4 weeks. Would you be willing to look at a GI map? Yeah. If we can, we get the blood work done, and whatever other tests you have, I'll review those, or my team will review those when we do a full workup on you. I'm in the UK. Can I access your program? Yes, we have special programs for anybody in Canada, for anybody overseas that we can't ship supplements to, but we can tell you exactly what kind. We can get you the blood work that you need to get a list of that and everything. And I'm on all 3, prednisone, Humira, and methotrexate. Wow, they are really trying to squash your immune system. So yeah, I'd love to help you guys. What if I am just looking for a second opinion and have already done this blood work recently? You could send over a copy to my new patient coordinators and see if it's enough. But if you're just looking for a second opinion, we're not really a second opinion kind of a place. We're a let's figure it out, let's get going. And if you want to take massive action, and if you want to change your life, we have very limited number of appointments a week available. So yeah, it's not really for let me just see what's going on. It's hey, I want to get my life back, and I want to commit to if you guys can help me, and if you guys are ready to take massive massive action. That's the relationship we like to work with. Let's go here. And should we eat a snack before bed to avoid blood sugar crash while asleep? That's one place that you could start. You could definitely do a snack before bed. Do you help people that get anxiety out of nowhere, like after COVID or SIBO? Yeah, Berdan, we were just talking about that earlier. If you are having random anxiety, it's almost always because your blood sugar is crashing down. But some dysautonomia can come about from COVID as well. So, and are you willing to work with people on Plaquenil when I already have RA? Sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're on a medication, it is what it is. We still have to fix your blood sugar. We still have to fix your adrenals. We still have to fix your leaky gut. We still have to fix the systems that are out of balance. And if you're on meds, you're on meds. My goal is to get you taking as little as needed as necessary to get the desired reaction and the desired response. My goal would be to take as little as possible long term. But yeah, if you're taking it now, that's fine. You're not just screwed. So guys, if you're ready to get your life back, if you're ready to take massive action to make these changes, to say, you know what, I'm going to go in and do everything I possibly can. That's what we're here for. We go hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. We take people and say, okay, here's what you're going to do with your liver. Here's how the cleanse work. Here's how the eating work. We're going to meet you on a weekly basis. We're going to give you supplementation, dietary changes, detoxification. We're going to give you 3 months of a continuous glucose monitor. We're going to redo blood work, make sure things are changing, go through step by step by step. If that's what you want, if you're tired of dabbling, I just had a new patient today, and she's like, I've been doing this for 6 months on my own and trying this and reading that and adding this in. And she's like, oh, look, I just had my blood work done, so I grabbed some DHEA. I'm like, you don't want to start that for at least a couple months. And she's like, oh, I just started it today. I'm like, no, that's the last thing that you want to do. You got to fix all these other things first, and then we'll probably add in some DHEA. If you want those kind of answers, if you want somebody to guide you, to hold you, to walk you through, to hold you accountable, to have a CGM slapped on the back of your arm knowing exactly what your blood sugar is doing, if you want to come out 4-6 months down the road and have the answers, know exactly what you need to be doing, then click down below in our link tree or in that special there, $349. Get the blood work done. My new patient coordinator will call you tomorrow. They'll talk through the whole process, get you the blood work, get you dialed in, and we will get cranking on getting you your life back. And what do I do if I have to take my Libre sensor out for an MRI? See you. But wanted to ask. You got to take it off. Just plan it accordingly. If you're going to be like 3 days after your sensor's out and you're going to put on a new one, just wait until the MRI. Anything about edema? Absolutely. Again, same thought process. You've got to fix those underlying reasons why you have inflammation. Anti-RNP, if it says high, it's high. I have lots of migraines. Do you have anything for my migraine? Yeah, it's the same thought process. Get your blood sugar stabilized, fix your gut, fix your liver, fix all these different systems, and that's how it's going to help. I have a question. If someone had autoimmune, they will always have it, right? No. Too blessed? No, absolutely not. My mom had MS, and now 20 years MS free. She doesn't have MS anymore. So we have seen so many people that have reversed their autoimmune and do not get it back. If you go back and do everything that you used to do, you're gonna get autoimmune again. Have you specifically helped people with long COVID? Absolutely. We see that all the time. Do most of your patients get off medication completely? I don't even know if that's most or some. It's so dependent on what it is. If somebody's had Hashimoto's for 20 years and they've destroyed a lot of their thyroid, they will probably have to be on thyroid hormone replacement the rest of their life. But are patients able to get off their prednisone, get off their Humira, get off some of their autoimmune drugs? Absolutely, as they're able to calm all this down. So we get to see those changes all the time. So again, guys, if you're coming in late and did not get to see this whole webinar, Autoimmune Secrets Revealed, I want you to send me a DM and I will get you a copy of this. Anxiety has gotten so bad it makes me throw up almost daily. Is this caused by autoimmune? Probably not. I would be looking at blood sugar imbalances. I would be looking at the adrenals, some different things. But yeah, we've got to do a big workup on that. Can you help histamine intolerance? Sure, we help people all the time with histamine intolerance there. I don't know how to send a DM. Misty, if you're in the TikTok world, just click on my bio, click on my page, and there's a button there that says message. Can you help psoriasis? Absolutely. I've seen people cracked, bleeding hands heal from that all the time. Anxiety after waking up, it's a low blood sugar thing. You're hypoglycemic. I lost 20 pounds because of levothyroxine. Will this continue? I have no idea. I'd have to see your T3 or T4. I'd have to see a lot of different things going on. Does DHEA help adrenal fatigue? No, Sabrina, DHEA low is a consequence of adrenal fatigue. So taking DHEA will just give you more DHEA. You still have to go and fix the adrenals. All right. Do you communicate with the patient's current healthcare team? Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Depends on who it is and what they have going on, but we absolutely can talk to anybody on your team. ANA positive, that is autoimmune. Cheryl, if you have an ANA positive, you have autoimmune. What does that mean? Your body's attacking its own tissue. That's it. It's not a rocket science of like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what it is. Well, you may not know exactly which autoimmune condition it is, but you have an autoimmune condition. Let's go here. Struggling with insomnia, tips or reasons, Marissa. Any number of things. Hard time getting to sleep. It's usually an adrenal thing that your cortisol's too high before bed, and hard time staying asleep is usually blood sugar. You're going too low. Should you drink wine with autoimmune? Greg, I would not recommend drinking wine hardly ever. Dr. Daniel Amen of the world-renowned Amen Clinic, they do the SPECT scan. He's fine. Even people that drink wine occasionally or drink alcohol occasionally, they have more neurodegeneration, more brain degeneration than people that don't drink. It's not worth it. I haven't had a drink in a couple of years, and I'm like, whatever, I don't need a glass of wine to make me feel okay or to get drunk or to help me sleep or whatever it is. So, how can you unblock sinuses? It's been 3 weeks. Yeah. What I do, I want to do a live on this one time. I'm gonna next person that comes in, I'm gonna ask them if I can do a live. So I take a balloon and I go up into the nasal passage. It's tied on to a blood pressure bulb. I stick it into the nasal passage and I actually inflate it. And so we're adjusting the cranial bones from the inside out. It is awesome. If I could only do one thing on every person for the rest of my career, that is what it would be. LDN, hold on. Functional doc has me on LDN for my Hashis to help lower my antibodies, body aches. Thoughts on LDN? Chris, that's fine. It's kind of like taking more of a natural immunosuppressant. It's fine, but you're not fixing anything. LDN doesn't fix your blood sugar. It doesn't fix your leaky gut or your liver or your inflammation or your vitamin D deficiency or any of those things. And what caused feet to always be cold? so many different things. You could be anemic, you could have thyroid issues, so many different things in there. And ANA, yep, ANA, same thing. Can hypothyroidism cause my ANA? No. The only thing that hypothyroidism can do is if you have low thyroid hormone in your body, it can make you tired, it can make you fat, it can make you not brain fog, some cry commercials, some things like that. What can I do to help adrenal fatigue? Crystal, number 1 and number 2, you need to stabilize your blood sugar and not go hypoglycemic. And then number 2, you need to get rid of any chronic infections in your body. My hair is breaking but not falling out, but it is an alopecia, right? Correct. Alopecia is where you have like big clumps and your whole, the whole hair is coming out. So that's probably more of a issue with your nutrients. What is a good iron and ferritin level? So ferritin, I like ferritin 40 to 125 for women. My wife has ANA positive and loves wine. That's why I asked. She laughed. Yeah. Here's the deal. Check blood sugar when you're drinking wine and see what it does. ANA titer 1 to 1280, is that bad? Amanda, absolutely that's bad. That is 100% autoimmune. You are destroying tissue. Amy, ANA is borderline 180, is that autoimmune? You've got some autoimmune going on in your body. Your body is revved up and attacking its own tissue. I don't know what it's being attacked. I don't know where it is, but you better do everything you can, because how many of you guys on here, if you have an autoimmune disease, would you have liked to have known 1 year, 5 years, 3 years before getting diagnosed with that autoimmune condition, before having major symptoms? How many of you guys would have liked to have known that you were pre-autoimmune? If your ANA is borderline at 1 to 80, you are pre-autoimmune. You better bust your butt. Ferritin is 500. Is that high? Absolutely. I don't like it over 125 for women. That is usually insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, fatty liver, some issues like that. And what does it mean that my cortisol and DHEA are normal, but my testosterone is low? I'm going to guess your DHEA is not normal. Is your DHEA between 200 and 250? That would be the question there. What if you took iron but your ferritin got even lower? Britt-Ann, you either had, you're losing more blood, you're getting more damage in your gut, you're not absorbing it, you're not taking a very good source of iron, something like that. My wife has a bumpy thyroid and ANA positive. She had biopsy. Yeah, Greg, she's got autoimmune. You better bust your butt, fix everything you possibly can to get that dialed in. DHEA is 233. I'd have to look at some other markers to really know what's going on there. Can I have caffeine with rheumatoid arthritis? Does caffeine make your blood sugar go up? Does caffeine, a lot of people, coffee can either drive their autoimmune worse or it can actually calm it down a little bit. So do you know which one? Is acupuncture beneficial for rheumatoid arthritis? Sure, it could be fine, but it's not. Again, acupuncture isn't going to fix your blood sugar. It's not going to help your leaky gut. It's not going to help your any of your other infections or environmental toxins, things like that. I've read that Sjogren's, the glands can't be regenerated. I don't know. I've seen plenty of Sjogren's patients to be able to not have dry eyes and dry mouth anymore. I haven't gone in and examined to see if they regenerated or not, but I've seen people that used to have dry eyes, dry mouth, not have dry eyes and dry mouth anymore. What is the effect of cannabis on autoimmune? The thing that I see with marijuana, medical marijuana, whatever it is actually the most stressful recreational drug for your adrenals. So it stresses out the adrenals. A lot of people, it can throw off the blood sugar. It can, that's some of why you get the munchies and some of those things. So in theory, it could be pretty detrimental for autoimmune. I had a positive ANA after getting Lyme, and is that normal? Yeah, of course. A lot of times autoimmune has been driven by infections. COVID can do that. There's a lot of different things that can happen. Let's go here. And hold on, let me grab this one. I just got that one, Britt. Is it okay to take apple cider vinegar twice a day? Yeah, that's fine. I'm a big fan of apple cider vinegar. Let's go here. My antibodies were 11 and T3, T4 was okay. Is that Hashimoto's? Waiting for the rest of the panel to process. So Jamie, to know if you have, if your antibodies, you have to know TPO antibodies and TG antibodies, thyroglobulin. So I don't know which ones those are. There's a lot of different antibodies out there. And ANA positive, should you be concerned? Absolutely, Victoria. You have pre-autoimmune. You may not be sick right now, you may not feel bad, but you have pre-autoimmune, and you better bust your butt to make sure that that's okay. Kristen, what can I take for constant reflux? Here's the thing. Write this down. 4 things, guys, to help if you're having reflux, indigestion, heartburn, anything. Give me a heart if some of you guys are having that. Heartburn, reflux, indigestion, anything up top. Write this down. You want to chew 30 times per bite. Chew, 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 chew. Unless you are annoying somebody sitting next to you, you're probably not chewing enough. Chew 30 times per bite. You want to not drink fluids with your meals. Do not drink fluids with your meals. If you drink fluids with your meals, you're going to dilute your stomach acid. I have pre-autoimmune, it was TPO. Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. So if your autoimmune marker comes back positive, then you have pre-autoimmune. So chew 30 times. Write this down for everybody. Chew 30 times. No fluids with your meals. You're going to dilute your stomach acid. You want to properly combine your foods. So you want to keep your proteins and your starches separate. So you do not eat a turkey sandwich. You do not eat hamburger on a bun. You do not eat spaghetti and meatballs. You do not eat eggs and toast. You keep those things separate. Otherwise, neither one digests very well. And then you need to eat in a relaxed environment. Okay, so do those 4 things. I guarantee you, if you do that for 2 weeks straight and you still are having reflux, indigestion, or heartburn, send me a DM and I'll help you from there. Eggs and tortillas, same thing. Protein and starch, do not do those together. All right, guys, I am going to jump. My team has been on here for an hour and a half. I appreciate them taking time away from their families. I'm going to go home and see my family, give everybody a hug, and I want you, if you're jumping in late, I want you to get a copy of this Autoimmune Secrets webinar for free. It's recorded. Send me over your email address. DM me your email address and we will get that over to you. April, if you did not get the whole webinar, and I break down each and every system. I tell you what numbers, I tell you what markers to test, everything, and we'll go from there. Best thing to eat for lunch to keep you full. Cauliflower rice, ground venison, and a bunch of good fat. How about that? So if you guys did not get to see this whole webinar, go ahead and request it. Send me a DM and I will get this over to you. And if you have not followed our page already, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you guys are at. Follow us. We go live all the time. We've got tons of videos. I love educating as much as feasibly possible. And if you want to take that next step, if you want to get your life back, if you want to change the autoimmune going on in your body, reach out, send us a DM. We'd love to talk to you about everything. You can pre-purchase the blood work at the big discount that we've got going on right now. We'll give you as much as we possibly can and just love helping you guys. So thank you so much for being on tonight. It was a blessing to be able to get this message out. And you guys have a very, very Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. January, it's going to be a great time to get your life back, and we are here to help you guys. Be well, and we'll talk soon. Take care, everybody.